Hi, and welcome to Community Hotline. My name is Monica Weitzel. We're here in Gresham at MetroEast Community Media. And now for this evening, we're going to talk with Elders in Action, an organization that I've been impressed by in the past, and they're still impressing me today. So the work you do is amazing, and to represent Elders in Action, we have Barbara Bernstein. You are the Interim Executive Director.
Yeah.
And Will Fuller, you're a volunteer, and from what I understand, you do a little bit of everything for Elders in Action.
That's right.
Thank you both for being here. Appreciate
No problem.
Thank you.
Do you think, for those who may have been living under a rock and not know what you do, could you give us just a real brief synopsis of what Elders in Action is all about?
Sure, I'd be happy to. And Bill, you can, Will, you can
Jump
chime
on in.
right?
Sure.
Elders in Action was established in 1968, a result of the Older Americans Act, and that was part of the Great Society legislation. And it set up area agency councils on aging, and they required commissions or advisory councils that could inform the government as they started to establish the comprehensive services that they were going to start providing seniors. So we came out of that, and we've been around since then. But in 1995, we became a nonprofit. So we were housed in the government, but then we became a nonprofit. And that came a result of volunteers who wanted to advocate more fully for issues related to older adults. And that allowed us to expand to the Tri-County area. So we had been focused in Multnomah County, and also to establish some new programs. So beyond the commission, the advisory council that advises the government, which is still in place, that was how we started. We have a personal advocate program, and that pairs older adults like Will. Will is a personal advocate, as well as a board member, as well as all these other things.
Like I said,
yeah,
a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything. It pairs older adults who might have a problem, who just need a little assistance to help navigate through to a solution. And we can talk a little bit more about that. There's a wide range of things that we can help with. And we have a community education program, and that does outreach to the community and teaches about issues related to older adults. We also do days of service, so we bring volunteers together and do some kind of service project. And then we have an AgeFriendly Program, and that is a program that volunteers work with the business community to create environments that really are inclusive to older adults. We might look at their website and talk to them about the fonts, the colors, so that older adults feel they can engage in the business in the way that the business would like them to.
Right.
So.
And it's everything from the website to the access
physical
in the
environment.
building.
Right. So 4 main programs.
Right, and you can be certified as age-friendly business. Is that right? Is that the right terminology?
Yes, right. It used to be called elder-friendly.
Elder-friendly, yeah.
And then the World Health Organization started a program of age-friendly cities.
Oh.
And there was a subtle shift in there. It is people who are older or have disabilities as the primary market, but age is everybody.
Yeah.
Little kids trying to open a heavy door.
Okay,
People who are short getting to the upper shelves, people who aren't well served by a standard environment get a chance for a business to shape itself in a very inclusive way. There's a term called universal design, where you build for everybody.
Wow.
And so age-friendly is more than just old folks.
Hey, I like that. I like that. Although I have reached that. I can fall into that category,
I like the special privilege of being an old folks.
Okay, there you go. Well, so tell me, Will, you've been involved in all these different things. There's a new, I don't know if it's would you call it a program that's going on. You've been involved with the scams and the frauds and trying to help prevent all that, right? Tell me a little bit about that, can you?
Elders is an independent agency, but we work in collaboration with a lot of other organizations.
Partners in the community.
Partners in the community, exactly. This is Portland. This is Partnership City.
It is, and you can't survive without being a partner, especially as a nonprofit anymore. I don't know how any one nonprofit can survive without working with others.
So frauds and scams are things that affect everybody, but they especially hit older people. Something like 90% of the frauds and scams get tried out on older people, all over the place. And you're in a vulnerable spot. You're kind of, you feel, you may be lonely, you're sitting at home, nobody calls, the phone rings, and this really nice person says, "Have I got a deal for you?" And it starts from there. What they were talking, the program is for protection. We collaborate with the Attorney General's office, with the Sheriff's Department, and a couple other places I can't remember.
Adult Protective
Adult
Services.
Protective Services, which is just what it sounds like. An adult is in a vulnerable place where someone's taking advantage of them. It's a county agency that can move in with some authority and protect that person right on the spot. I think it was a SWAT team.
Wow.
They're really cool.
So if I were to know of an adult who was being taken advantage of, I could call Adult Protective Services and say, I think this person needs some help. Could I do that?
Absolutely.
Or would I call Elders in Action?
Really, there's no wrong door.
Okay.
You really
Yeah.
could call us, you could call the county, you could call APS directly, and you really should.
Yeah,
Any
yeah.
one of us is going to direct you to the right place. The County of Multnomah has a helpline, and that's a really great place to call because they have all the resources right there, as does Elders in Action. This program that Will is talking about is called Power to Protect. And the reason that we started convening these groups, the partners that Will is talking about, is because we get so many calls from older adults who experience scams and frauds. And in some cases, there's not a lot that we can do. When there is kind of aggressive sales and somebody ends up purchasing something that they really didn't intend to, personal advocates can advocate on behalf of someone like that. So we really can make a difference there, and we'll pair someone to help them get out of the contract or talk to the representative of the company. But in many, many cases, it's gone to the point where it's the Oregon Department of Justice that we have to send the referral to. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we wanted to have a more proactive response to the calls that we were getting, and we've developed this fraud panel called, as I said, the Power to Protect, that brings together the groups that Will was talking about: law enforcement, Adult Protective Services, the Oregon Department of Justice, volunteers like Will, to have a conversation with the communities. The only way that we're going to be able to protect ourselves is with awareness and education. And what's really great is these people are right there for you to ask questions of.
Oh, that's super.
We did one in Gresham last year. We're doing one next week at the North Portland Library. And then in February, we'll do another at the Central Library. And we're working with municipalities to bring them to other areas.
Good.
We'll have one in Hillsborough, and hopefully we'll reach out to Clackamas County and have one there.
The Tri-County area.
Right.
Yeah.
So it really is about education and caring about others. As Will said, a lot of older adults are isolated and they're vulnerable, and they really have the expectation that the marketplace is fair.
They're trusting.
They're trusting.
They're lonely. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right.
You brought you sent some pictures, and maybe we can show this while we're talking about this. I think maybe from last year's. I'm not sure when they come up. Maybe you can tell me what it is we're looking at. But
Okay.
There's
Right.
listen,
There's-
Yeah.
The city, the last one we had, Nick Fish came and he did a part of the presentation, and he had a personal story that he was able to share. So
really?
even in, his family, people that we know, public figures, and Judge Tennyson is on the left, and she's a real advocate for older adults who have been victims of fraud, and Leslie Foran, the former executive director,
Right,
who we miss very much.
I bet you do.
And then again, Ellen in the middle with the red shirt there, she's from the Department of Justice, and I believe the person on the left is from law enforcement. And if you'll notice, between them is Will.
The handsome dude.
That good one. Yeah, there he is. Okay.
Yeah, right, that's it.
And I don't know if there are any more. Yeah, so giving Jay Pentheny,
Yeah,
who I hadn't
Jay.
met yet. Giving really good resources, ideas about how to protect themselves, where to go if something's happened, or if you have a friend, somebody that you know that you're kind of worried about, what can you do to help them, and where you can sort of reach out for support.
See, that's a really good thing, because a lot of times people are afraid to approach the person who's in that situation for fear of offending them.
Yes.
And because I've seen that more than once, where it's like, if I say that, they'll think, they don't want to tell me that they've been duped or that they've been.
And there's a lot of shame
Yeah, there's
attached to
shame,
this.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it is actually a very private crime that doesn't always get the attention that it needs.
Right. If you've lost your life savings to some scam artist, then it's embarrassing to say, yeah, I fell for that. But it happens over and over again every day, doesn't it?
We've had people in the audience at these panels come forward afterwards and talk about what's happened to them. And as we know, a lot of these scams are coming from abroad. And with the internet and email and that sort of thing, it's relentless. So reaching out and getting support is really the answer. The Oregon Department of Justice has been really so great at these panels, and we'll talk directly to the people and give them really great advice.
I imagine a lot of them are not reported. Was that the
And
case?
they're not reported, or they're covered up in some various ways. One of the things we found in the panels is sometimes you're going to scare people. Oh my God, is everybody out to get me kind of thing. And that can be a little hard.
Yeah.
But there are some pretty basic tips people can take. One of the panelists over there, I think it was Don Shaperka, one of the guys in that panel on the right, and he says, think about something. When you say, that's unusual, that's a clue. If it's too good to be true, it
I was
may not
going to
be
say,
true.
that was
It's
what I was
too good to be
thinking.
true.
It's too good to be true.
So you don't have to be scared, you just have to be prudent.
Yeah.
And if it looks unusual, if it's too much of a deal, a couple of things you can do. One is examine it, see what's happening. One of the common things is an organization will say, well, I'm from the computer helpline. They get on the phone all the time. You do your computer. And so we say, okay, could you tell me where's the headquarters located? And what's the phone number? And can I check it out? And things like that. And if they can identify themselves, check it out. Wait. Another thing
Whatever
is...
the situation is,
call
can
them
wait.
back. You
Yeah.
don't have
Call
to
back.
if
Call
you
back.
want to. Can I interject for a second?
Absolutely.
The DOJ has this really great brochure. I don't know. That
You can
has
hold it up so we can see a little bit.
That has has very good tips in there.
Top 10 consumer tips to protect you and your family.
Right, and they have a really great website. If something's happened to you, it's really great to report it to them because they put out these scam alerts. So they see the trends that are happening, and then they can alert us to what's happening. And inside, you talked a little bit about the tips, but they do have some really good tips.
Good.
One of them, a very basic one, is just to wait. Wait a day. If somebody's really trying to pressure you, or you're uncertain, if it's what you just said earlier, then just wait a little bit. A lot of these scams happen because of the secrecy around money. So if you can talk to your family, people that you trust, even elders in action, to help guide you in the right direction.
Say this. I got this phone call. Do you think this sounds legitimate? Would and maybe somebody can help you check it out.
We get a lot of calls
I
like
bet
that.
You do.
Yeah, we do. Right.
Yeah.
So we can help put your mind at ease and help you to the next step.
What a great service.
It's pretty good service.
It's
I've had
pretty
a couple.
good service.
You don't want to toot his own horn too much, Chris. He's done so much with it.
It's not. I mean, I feel like my psychiatrist is worried about my multiple personality disorder. But really, what we do as a volunteer, this is an interesting relationship because, well, look, I'm obviously not in my youth. I can get vulnerable. This allows me to have a chance to be useful, which is a power to keep me from getting weird. Also, one of the things, you don't have to be old to be a volunteer advocate, but someone like myself can relate to somebody.
Right.
You ache in the morning,
Right.
you're wondering what's going on. I can say, I know what you're talking about, which makes it easier for them to open
Right,
up and feel more comfortable.
Right.
Listening is a very important thing. Somebody being heard helps. But we're not experts. Elders is really good with the volunteers, where you get a situation, you don't have to be a social worker or a lawyer or somebody to get yourself into trouble. They define the task very straightforwardly. And when I talk to a client, I do two things. I reassure them that things can do, and then I help define the issue. And that's the issue. Sometimes people, what they call it, peeling the onion. I've got this issue over here, and oh, by the way, my grandmother's doing this, and by the way, I'm blah, blah, blah. You say, okay, here's what we'll deal with, so that we're protected and they're protected. And for me, it's not just giving help to the person. This is a hard thing to recognize. I have to realize what's in it for me. How am I being helped? And that makes it a mutual thing. I'm not just going to help this poor helpless person. We've got a deal going.
I like that. I like that. And I think it's that way with most volunteer work. If you really
That's
put
right.
yourself into it, you're going to get back as much as you put into it.
Elders in Action is creating an opportunity for volunteers to be of service to the community, and that's what Will is talking about. We provide training for our volunteers and support for our volunteers so they can do this work. And he's right, they don't have to be experts.
But they know what they have the resources.
Yeah.
They can refer to here.
And they can think with the other person.
Yeah.
You know, let's think together about what are the steps to get to a place where you feel that there's resolution to your problem.
That's so
It's
great.
It's
a great thing.
It's
It's
a
like
great
having
program.
somebody hold your hand through the tough times. You know?
Yes, a companion.
Yeah.
When I mean, we all need help at certain times, and a lot of older adults, they're living in isolation. Their families live in other states. We have had calls from family members, and they're far away, or their contemporaries have passed away. There's so many reasons why people find themselves alone, and Elders in Action can be there to support them in the form of volunteers
Well,
like
full
Will.
of guys like Will. You know, we're out of time already, and it's gone by
Okay.
very, very fast. So just to wrap it up, we have the Power to Protect from Fraud. It's Tuesday, January 22nd from 2 to 3 at the North Portland Library. And then Tuesday, February 17th from 2 to 3 at the Central Library, that's downtown Portland.
That's right.
Right.
And if people want more information, we'll have the information on our screen, so your website and information about this event. So I would encourage people to go, and if they just need some help, we know that there's people like you and you to come help out.
If we can help, we'll find you
You'll
a place.
you'll find somebody to do it.
That's right.
That's wonderful. Thank you both so much for being here tonight.
Thank you
Pleasure
for
to-
having us.
Pleasure.
Thanks for watching Community Hotline. I hope you've learned something. I know I have. And do watch out for your neighbors and any older Americans or yourself if you happen to fall into that category. Do take care of yourself and try not to get scammed. I'm Monica Weitzel. This is Community Hotline. We'll see you next week.